Take a minute. All right. What's up, people? Lynn here with another video for
Hey,
you all. We are interviewing a gamer. We have Delilah HD. What is up,
what's
Delilah?
up? What's up? Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Oh
that.
my God. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
For real, for real. Like, oh, this is amazing.
I'm excited.
I love this. I love this. We all smile.
Yes, yes. Got me a little nervous about the questions, but let's go.
No,
So,
honey, look. These questions are meant. No, let me stop. They just, you'll see, it's not bad.
okay.
So, first question: what brings you to YouTube?
What bring me to YouTube? I would say it's Growing the Gaming. It's the podcast that I'm on. It's myself, El Boogie, Lady Infamous, and Charisse. We have a show that we do, a podcast that we run every Saturdays noon Eastern. Um, so yeah, that's what brought me to YouTube. Prior to that, I was doing my own little content creation as far as like putting games on, like typical putting gameplay on YouTube and talking about the game that I'm playing. But more often than not now, I'm more so just doing the podcast. So that's what brought me to YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what's your ultimate goal here on YouTube?
My ultimate goal here, as far as individual goal, or would you say more so just as far as the podcast that I'm on?
However you interpret the
How do I
question.
interpret it? I don't know. For me, my personal goal is just, it's more so just being a example for other people to see. Because I know prior to being on YouTube or starting the podcast, it's like you didn't see a lot of us on YouTube, let alone
Mhm.
talking about games, having some sort of influence in the gaming industry. So I think that would be what you say the goal is as far as YouTube is concerned. And I still feel like it's not enough of us in these spaces, and so that would be pretty much the goal. I mean, even when I look at GWG and like where we're trying to take the show, I think that's also
Mhm.
probably one of the goals. We have many goals for GWG, but I think that's one of the goals for it as well. It's just how can we
Okay.
influence culture and how can we put our stamp on things, because it's not a lot of us in this space, and so
Exactly.
we definitely want to put us out there, and say that look, we're here and we deserve to have a voice, and so yeah, for sure.
Okay. I like that. And so we know that you are a gamer and that you're passionate about gaming. So
Yeah,
tell us something we don't know.
something you don't know. Wow, I love passionate about gaming. Something you don't know. Oh wow. See, if it's hard now because we on GWG, like we share little bits of information about ourselves. So most people who listen to the show would know that I'm a foodie, or and also that I don't like peanut butter. Um,
Oh, okay.
so that's something people don't know, is that I don't. Most people love peanut butter. I don't eat peanut butter. It's not because I'm allergic to it, anything like that. It's just I don't like the taste. It comes
Yeah.
back, or smell. It just goes back to when I was a kid. So and also that I'm a foodie. I absolutely love trying new food, cooking, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people don't know that from just the content that we put out on YouTube, because it's definitely centered around gaming, of course.
Mhm.
So yeah, and except for people who listen to the show, some people will figure it out.
Yeah.
But
Well, mine is chow mein. I
I mean,
can't stand it. I
oh,
cannot
you don't like chow
stand
mein?
it.
Oh man,
No. Oh no.
oh
That
man.
that's my childhood. That no. Mm-mm.
Oh wow,
I can't.
that's wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So, do you feel that it is important to complete games 100%? And does that define a gamer?
No, I don't think completing a game 100% defines a gamer. But I'm a little bit torn on this, because I do have a rule, and I've always said this because I've been following the industry and playing games forever. I feel, and so it's like I do have a rule where I feel like you shouldn't review a game until you've completed it 100%, because sometimes that story and that arc and the ending will make the game. It's kind of like reading a good book. You don't read a book halfway and then think you know the book, right? You
Mhm.
read the entire book before you make your whole judgment on the book. I think games should be treated the same way. I think if like these media, a lot of media outlets, when they put out a review, it really isn't a review; it's a preview, and they should call it a preview and not a review because 9 times out of 10, they didn't complete the game. And so I would say that would be my rule when it comes to the media front of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
Now,
as
is
far
this any game?
any well, some games you don't like roguelikes and stuff like that, you don't have, of course you don't have to complete, like the completing those is a little bit different because it's like a repetitive nature to them and you have to play them, and of course you can get to an end, but it's very different than say like a Zelda or
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed or something like that. It
Mm-hmm.
has like a overarching story. I like to think that, or I believe that those games should be completed before you write a full review on them.
Okay.
Like for instance, like God of War. Don't tell me that that game is a masterpiece or game of the year if and you wrote a review and you only played like 2 hours of it. Like, how do you know the game could have tanked
Exactly.
toward the end or in the middle? Like, it could have been a disconnect by the time you got to the end of the game. So it's one of those things to where I'm really particular about that part
Mm-hmm.
for reasons.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, I don't think as far as trying to bring it back to the original question, I don't think that should define you as a gamer though, whether you complete the games or not, because I feel like gaming itself is it's just the interaction you had. Like it's the interaction. It's what brings you the joy of it's the joy of gaming itself. Like you can play, solitary for like 10 minutes. And even though you didn't finish the game, you can put it on pause, but you still engage with that game. So I don't think that should
Mm-hmm.
define. I think interaction and behavior defines the gaming part of it. It shouldn't dictate whether you're a pro gamer. I think everybody's can have different levels to gaming, but I think I hate when people put it in a box like that and say, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
if you complete a game, you're a pro gamer," or if you played a certain game, you're
You
not
hardcore.
right hardcore or elite or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair. I think gaming is for everybody. So, yeah.
Okay. So, are you a trophy hunter? Why or why not?
No, I am not. I am not. Time.
Okay.
It's hard to dedicate time to it. I do have the one claim to fame though is that um, I would say about a year and a half ago, Roman Gaming had we had a achievement challenge, and I got 24,000 in a single month, which is, I
Ooh,
know a single month is insane. If you know how hard it is to get
nice.
achievements, 24,000 is like it's still my highest month ever. Um, and yeah, it was crazy because it's by midway through that challenge, it's like everybody else had quit because it's like Delilah is just too far. I was too far ahead of everybody else. Me and someone else, and that at that time, we're like kind of neck and neck, and then all of a sudden just kept going. I kind of got
Yeah.
like in the zone, but outside of that, no, I am definitely not an achievement hunter. I like getting achievements. I mean, I like the adrenaline
Mhm.
you get when you get them, but it's not like, to me, it's not the primary reason why I play. Um, I play mostly for like, the art and the story and the
Mhm.
interaction you get with it. So no, to answer the question.
Do you have a favorite genre? That's not one of the questions, but
Oh,
it's
do I have a favorite genre? Yes, I do actually. I'm definitely an action adventure fan. I love action
okay.
adventure, Metroidvania type games. That's my
Oh,
favorite.
okay.
Yeah, so like your
Okay.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Blind
Yeah.
Forest, Zelda, Metroid, that type of game. That's my
Mhm.
favorite by far. And then
Okay.
Ninja Gaiden, that's like that's in my top five. Yeah, I just kind of named my top five just now. I think
That's cool.
roughly. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And Halo's will be the other one. So then that makes it five, I think.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, what is a memorable gaming moment that you will never forget, whether personal or professional?
Memorable gaming moment. Oh wow. One of the most memorable moments I have was it's kind of like when I was in college. It's kind of two. I have two. And they're both centered around like Xbox, which kind of crazy. But anyway, so it's like just like I just named off my top five, there was a game. So Ninja Gaiden. I remember playing that game on original Xbox in the dorm. Like they had a big TV downstairs, and if anybody who've played Ninja Gaiden Black, they know how challenging and how difficult that game is. And I went downstairs. I took over the TV. They used to have this big screen TV downstairs. I took over the TV, hooked it up, started playing it. And I was down there by myself initially because it's a single player game, and I'm playing and playing and playing, going through, and I'm not knowing as I'm playing through Ninja Game that a crowd is building up behind me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so by the time I, I beat was fighting this boss, and I beat the boss, I heard this like, yeah, right. I look back, and it's a crowd of people
Oh,
watching me play the
that's
game. I was
cool.
like, oh my gosh, and it's like, just keep playing, just keep playing. So
You
that
were
was
so
super memorable.
into it.
Yes, it was so. I
That
didn't
is
even
so
realize that people were watching me play, and it was such a memorable thing. Um, Another thing too, the memorable moment I would say had to be my first. It'd be my first E3. Back, and I believe it was in 2000 and I want to say 5 or 6. But anyway, I went there. I had gotten to the Microsoft press briefing. We went to the Chinese theater and stuff. First time meeting like Major Nelson, all these people. I go in there and I sit down, and it was the first time that Bill Gates had been to an E3, and I got to kind of like sit and like watch him do like this whole monologue about like gaming and what he thought about it and its importance to the
okay.
industry. And then watching Cliffy B come out on stage with the chainsaw. And that was just so, for me, being somebody from like small town and traveling all the way to
Yeah.
Los Angeles and having access to like the parties and stuff for the first time. It was definitely like, I need to do
Oh
this,
my
you know,
goodness.
I need to be
That
in
is
this,
amazing. I
so
love that.
yeah, that was definitely one of them for sure.
Oh God, yes, that is a memorable moment.
Yeah.
Wow.
So those two would
Okay.
be the main ones. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So what are your thoughts on the gaming community today? Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. It's different.
Yeah.
It's funny because like I'm an 80s baby, so it's like I've kind of seen it change. Like I've seen where um I guess I can only look at like, because a lot of what's happening in gaming is as far as like it's kind of dictated a little bit by the media, so I've actually kind of seen it like change because of YouTube and people like us, like people who do streaming and on YouTube and platforms like this, are getting way more influence than big media outlets and stuff like that. I think the only thing is for a state of gaming right now, it would just, I mean, I hate, I absolutely am. I'm not a huge fan of like the trolling
Yeah.
and the council culture and stuff too. Like it's just, it can be overwhelming at times. It's like anytime somebody puts something up positive, it's like the negative always outweigh the positive.
Yeah.
It's to the point where you start focusing on that instead of the goal of whatever you're doing or whatever you're trying to achieve. And I think that's what has really negatively impacted gaming. Even when it comes to the developers and how like, you hear stories about like death threats and SWATs and stuff like that. It's so
That's
unfortunate,
sad.
and I absolutely can't. I don't understand. I have a hard time understanding how did that stuff become a joke when you're really you're playing with people's lives
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So how did that stuff become a joke? And so, if anything, I would say that part of it has been bad. One thing I do appreciate about the current state of gaming is how we really worked to push it forward. It's like gamers now, they expect a lot. Like, we want great graphics, we want great frame rates, we want the game to be fun. It's like our expectations are super high. So because of that, and developers are now learning that and knowing that, it's like we're pushing the industry forward. But man, the toxicity is just, that part is, I
Yeah.
mean, I think as an industry and as a community, we have to figure that part out. We have to, because I
Hmm.
feel like otherwise it's like kind of like a rotten apple, right? It's going to spoil the whole bunch. People are going to, as soon as you mention gaming, going to think you got some level of negativity associated with you because of the fact that you like gaming. And people still put, unfortunately, some people still put like gaming and that stigma, and is like being, what was it, like back in the day, and not so much today, but back in the day, it was like, gamers being associated with like being lazy or not being able to, get great jobs and things like that.
Hmm.
And so it's like, now with the way this culture is, you don't want it to be associated with something toxic, right? And so I think
Yeah,
as gamers, I think we need to like become more protective of this space of like how do we make it better for everybody? Because I mean, threatening developers and you know,
that's not the way.
it's not healthy. Yeah, it's not the
No.
way. Yeah, and then it's yeah, of course that's a whole other show in itself, right? We can talk about the state of gaming in a whole nother show. Um,
Yeah.
but it's like, uh, I, I mean, I wish I had the answers, like all the answers of how to fix it. But I think and that's what have me torn right now as far as how I feel about it. It's yeah, I- I
Okay.
hope that answers the question.
And yeah, I mean, okay. So these questions are for the interviewee to interpret and to answer the way they see fit.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's like no right or wrong answer. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um. So, what are your thoughts on the future of gaming, and what would you like to see change within the gaming community? You kind of touched on that
Yeah, I
just
kind of
now,
touched on it.
but if you wanted to, like, maybe elaborate or whatnot on that, you can. If
Yeah,
not, then that's fine.
absolutely. I mean, this one is big because I mean, I touched on a little bit as far as like, as gamers and how we approach developers and things like that. But I think representation, of course, I'm gonna say that right. Being who I am, it's like I think representation is still a big issue in the space. We're still less than 1% in the industry as far as development. Um,
Wow.
yeah. So it's like
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of, and you think about the population, right? I feel like every industry should at least match population. African Americans, Black are like 13% of the population. So it's like we should at least be 13% of the industry. And being less than 1%, it's like it's unfortunate, because it's
Mhm.
not like we're not applying to these jobs or I think also it depends on the communities too.
Mhm.
um but I think gaming has a long way to go because even just E3 is right in a few days, and
Yeah.
GWG has like media access, so we signed in. And when you go in as media, like you can create your avatar, and the African American like and Black options are just they're not it. Like I couldn't put Afro puffs, I couldn't get cornrows in my hair and nothing like that to represent me.
So
So
that
I had
means
to,
I couldn't have.
yeah, no, not at all. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That is not
So I
cool.
had to really pick. I had to pick a avatar that looked sort of like I would, want to look, And it's like, man, you're the ESA, like you run this site, you should be more in tune with little things like that because
Yeah.
representation is still extremely important. And the fact when you think about that, Black African American play 30%, 30 to 40%, or purchase 30 to 40%. It's like representation is so skewed, and it's like it's almost like you're treating an audience that pays for these games or buy these games like they don't exist, and
Yeah.
that's the thing that I have issues like
Yeah.
I want to work hard to try to improve on. I mean,
Okay.
and what's
Yeah.
interesting with that is just it's not really only for my own benefit. To me, I think it's a benefit for generations after us, right? I
Mhm.
mean, you think about, I guess an example I can use is Dallas Mavericks. Their CEO, they had a boardroom. It was used to be all white guys in the boardroom, but Mark Cuban ended up, he hired a black lady as his, I want to say she the CEO or VP or something. CEO added diversity to that because she made an argument that look at the players and look at the people who are buying the gear, and it's like they don't look like your boardroom. And it's like people who buy the games, the correlation I'm trying to make here is that look who's making the purchases, look who's buying the
Mhm.
content. They don't look like your boardroom. Like we don't look like the developers that are making the games. And
Mhm.
that's a lot of factors, of course, lead to that. But that's what I think the industry needs to make improvements on, is like how do you improve that space? How do you improve representation? When I go and do character creation, I shouldn't struggle to build a character that look like me. I should have
Exactly.
this. When I see Lady Infamous or El Boogie or Charisse playing a game, their character shouldn't look identical to mine when they do a creative character, because
Hmm.
they only gave us two options to work with. Everybody else got 9 or 10, options and hair options. It's like, and so I as person, as someone that has to live my life through my skin, of course I don't think that stuff matter. Because it does, because
Exactly.
everybody's so used to their bubble, but your bubble is not what the world looks like. So
Hmm. Wow, I didn't even know that. Yeah, they need to make some improvements.
right,
That,
right. It
that
was so
is
telling. I'm
bad.
like, I went through, and Boogie, she went through, she created her avatar, and I went through and created mine. I'm like, I'm gonna have to really try to be creative here, because I have no options. Like, everything I kind of try to build out looks nothing like an African
Like you.
American. Not even
Hmm.
me, but just African American.
Period.
Period. Exactly. Period.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah. Uh yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. So
Mm, okay. So retro or current gen and why?
ooh, that's a good one. Oh my god. That's so good. That is so good. I can't say both, can I? I can't say both?
I mean, you
Uh,
interpret the question how you want.
oh, that's right. Okay. Retro or current gen? Oh, retro was so good. That's childhood right there. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to go with current gen though,
Really?
because current gen is gonna be like, it's gonna be incredible. Like, it just because it's like technology is it's just gonna allow for some amazing things. Whether it's, I mean, especially like AI and world development and graphic fidelity, it's gonna change. It's gonna change. It's like you could tell now that our, like we mentioned earlier, gamer expectation is high. It's it's got a chance to get worse because of the fact that technology is cutting edge, and things is coming is going to be crazy. Now, when you say current edge, are you referring to like Series X, PlayStation 5, PC from now, or are you talking about like just 3D era versus like 16-bit, 8-bit, 32-bit? Like, you got to get a little more specific than, like, I'm trying to
See,
break it
you
down.
would read more into that question.
Like, because when you say
I
current
love
gen,
that. I love it. I love it.
because when you say current gen, I'm already ahead. I'm already thinking Series
Yeah.
X, PlayStation 5, PC,
Yeah.
right? I'm not thinking. I'm no longer thinking Xbox One, PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Those. I'm past those. So it's
Well, I
like,
mean that's current gen then.
so if let's say, if you look back at that era, right? Like your PlayStation 4, your Xbox One era, Switch. Well, Switch kind of mid. Switch is weird. I always be like, Switch is weird.
Which is my baby.
I know, but it's the way it's no. Let me ask you a question then.
Oh,
Is
okay.
Switch? I'm just I got to get this out before I go into my whole spiel about like gens. But
Okay.
so is Switch a handheld or a console?
I say it's a handheld. I've always said
Okay,
that.
see,
Okay.
me too,
Now
right?
there are people that will swear that it's a console because you can connect it to your
Because you
TV
can hook it to a
and this thing.
TV.
I'm like, I don't care. It is a handheld that you can put in a dock, and it's still a handheld in that dock. This is
Yeah,
not a
it's still a
console.
hand. See, I
Like,
agree
stop it.
completely. And even they had the new Switch that released, and they didn't even have it to where you can just detach the Joy Cons. I was like, see,
Hmm.
even Nintendo know it's a handheld.
Yeah,
Um,
it is
so
not a console. Stop it.
right, right. So that's every time I think of Nintendo, and where they are as far as like last gen, current gen, because they kind of in the middle. In the middle, they released kind of late in the generation, so they're kind of,
Hmm.
the placement of that is kind of like midway between crossing over to current gen, Series X and PlayStation 5, PC, and last gen Xbox One, PS4. Um, But man, I think about the Xbox One, PS4, you know, Wii U, Switch era. It's like that was some the game to me. Games changed, like everything changed with the 3D era, right? Um, it's like man. So when you ask that question, like retro, and it's like, oh my gosh, 3D era versus retro. The 3D era, I have to pick 3D era. I have to. Much as I love nostalgia and retro and going back and playing some of those games, it's like it's nothing like jumping into a full 3D realized world and
Mm,
going through a story and seeing the cutscenes and getting like emotion from animated characters and stuff. It's nothing like to me. That's it changed the game. It completely changed the
okay.
game. So and then if you need it, and when I look at my own like top five, with Ocarina of Time and Ninja Gaiden stuff like that, they are in the 3D era, and so well Ninja Gaiden Black, those are in the 3D era. So I would have to pick the. I have to pick the. I'll change. You see how I changed your question, right? The 3D
It's like
era.
you're doing the process of elimination. It's like, well, it could be this, but then, yeah, no, we didn't. I like that.
Right. So yeah, I'm gonna have to pick the current. Just to answer the question, the current gen for sure. Because
Okay.
the AI technology is just
Yeah.
yeah, it blows it out of the water. Yeah.
Okay. So I have a couple bonus questions before the final question.
Uh oh.
Do you want me to ask you the bonus question?
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, shoot. I'm good. Just let's see.
Okay. Now, I haven't changed the bonus questions. I don't know if I'm going to like continue to keep them the same or if I'm
Hmm.
going to change them down the road, but
Okay.
so first question is we all get burnt out, okay?
Hmm.
And like in at some time or another, but what is something that you do to remedy that? Like burnout from gaming or just burnout from
Yeah. From content
well, I'm
creation, all
looking
of it,
at it
right?
from like yes.
Yeah. What I do, man. Wow. I mean, I got like shows I like to watch, and I'm really big on like home improvement type stuff, and doing some sort of crafty things.
HGTV.
HGTV, yes, we love it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So yeah, I mean that's what I do. Sometimes I mean I can go weeks without turning the console on or playing a game, like because I kind of get caught up in like family and what my nieces and nephews are doing and what my sisters are doing, brother.
See, that's good.
And so it's like so it helps to disconnect and
Hmm.
to kind of put your energy somewhere, because sometimes if you're into something too so long, you can come a little bit blind to other things, and
Yeah.
so having aspiration is extremely important. So I mean I definitely point to family here for sure, and also like other TV shows and stuff, because Disney Plus is in their bag right now, okay. And so they just dropped Loki, and I can't wait to check that out. So it's just things like that, and just other content, outside of
Yeah.
gaming. And we live in such a great time right now because the technology that's afforded to us, we have options.
Hmm.
um, and I think it's healthy to still cook out and invite people over and have deep conversations about life. I'm so glad that the world is now finally trying to get back to some normalcy, because it's like being in like the COVID, I would like to say the COVID era in the last year
Hmm.
or so. It's like me personally, like I have a more appreciation for human interaction. So like when I went home for the holidays, it's like, man, just to hug someone else and to look in their emotion and
Yeah.
touch them and stuff like that. It's like things you took for granted.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, basically reaffirms the notion that I think it's healthy to disconnect. And so to me, that's the best way. It's just interact with people if you can, and get
Hmm.
out in the sun or take a walk or stuff like that. You can do a lot to disconnect, and I think it's healthy for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
So, second bonus question.
okay.
This is in reference to mental health and gaming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, how has gaming helped you within the realm of mental health?
Oh
If
wow, this is
any.
good because gaming saved my life. I mean, I like mentioning this or saying I say that people think I'm being cliche or being funny, but it did. Just being someone, when I was in high school and stuff, I was bullied a little bit, and gaming helped me escape from that. You know how it is,
Mhm.
like in the Black community. Sometimes mental health can be kind of not so much. It's starting to change now, but it's one
It's
of
like
those
a
things.
stigma.
A
It's something that
stigma,
you don't
right?
talk about.
You
You
don't
don't
you don't
talk
mention
about
it, you don't
it.
say it, things like that.
Yeah,
And
like it'll go
so
away.
yeah, like I remember mentioning to my parents that, like, this is happening, so on and so forth. They're like, oh, you'll be fine, and not knowing that it's really affected me,
Mhm.
or it's really, I'm really dealing with it. But it took me to, like, jump into a game to escape, like to just get, I could, and even to this day, I still do things like that. It's like, man, I'm frustrated, I'm upset. Let me play something, and
Yeah.
I can then reassess the situation. And that stemmed back from, like, when I was in high school and whatnot. Yeah, so for me, gaming is therapeutic. Like
Mhm.
it definitely helps. You can, if you want to get up, be upset, you can take your frustration out on a game. You don't
There
gotta
you go.
bother anybody, hurt nobody, cuss
Yep.
anybody out. Just get in the game and and put it on the sticks, as I like to say.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely. I think it could be beneficial to mental health. I do think that too much of it could be counterproductive, especially
Mhm.
for the younger generation, because, like, they like, I'm an 80s baby, so, like, they didn't grow up with the change of the um
Like the
like
cartridges,
yeah, they didn't grow up with the whole change of the industry, like
blow
we,
it.
like blowing and putting it in there and stuff. Like, they didn't grow up with that. So we, like, when I was a kid, like, we still went outside and we played,
Mhm.
tag and laser tag
Yeah.
and stuff, like, went to the, went skating and things like that. And it's like, a lot of kids I see, just kind of moving around. They're like on a tablet and they playing a game. It's like
Mhm.
they got that interaction much earlier in their life than I did. So it's like, uh, being outside of that is still, having too much of gaming can be counterproductive. I think kids should definitely still go outside and engage with other kids and
Mhm.
things like that, and learn how to build that communication skill, and learn
Mhm.
how to deal with other people. Because I've noticed that kids who don't have the type of interactions sometimes struggle as they get
Yeah.
older. I'm not, it's like, it's not, you don't want a world of people don't know how to interact with other people. Like, you just don't.
Mhm.
So I think
I
it's
mean, it's like even now when you see people walking down the street, everyone's head is buried in a
a
phone.
phone.
Like
Yes,
no
yes.
one is no one is you have no eye contact, no one is talking to each other.
Hmm.
It's everybody is doing this and I'm like, how in the heck can you even see?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
you gonna fall in a manhole? Like what are
Hmm.
you doing?
Yeah, that's
But,
crazy. And think about it though. Kids is growing up now. Like, this is all they know. All they know is you're supposed to be in your bed in your phone. And so it's just like we have to figure out a way to kind of tone it down a little bit, I guess, as a
mm-hmm.
people, because I mean the whole communication thing is extremely important. And I would hate to see what a world look like if like, oh, before we even talk, I gotta text you first, or
Yeah,
like, before we go, I don't want to see a world like that.
yeah.
So
I remember my niece when she was 3. She had her mom's computer. She wanted to watch Netflix. So she brought up Netflix. She went into Netflix
3.
Kids at 3
Wow,
with her
wow.
little fat fingers with the little dimples in her little. She went
Yeah.
into little Netflix Kids. She pulled up the little program she wanted to show grandma. And
Hmm.
then so she started watching. You can see her little fingers. And she
Hmm.
paused it and she talked to her and then she play. I'm like, she know how to do more than what like my mom, she didn't even
Yeah.
know how to do it. So like my mom is an adult and she didn't know how to do the little stuff on the
Yeah.
computer. Here's this 3-year-old child with his little tiny hands
And I think the scariest part
working the
about that,
computer.
right? And the way you describe that, the scariest part of that is that, what if companies, you already see this, companies are teaching them from at a very young age how to click on this ad or how to buy
Mhm.
this item, or they're able to market a certain level of gambling to them at such a young age. And it's like that's going to be so ingrained in the culture if we don't stop it before it gets too far. And so at 3,
Mhm.
for
At
to be
3.
able to go through it like that and know what to click
Mhm.
on and stuff like that, yeah, that's, man, that's scary. And like I said, I don't want to see
Yeah.
where I can't help but think about the episode in Black Mirror where I think it was one of the first episodes, first or second. Have you ever seen Black Mirror on
I have
Netflix?
not,
Oh my
but I know
goodness.
people were talking about it. So
Yeah, there's an episode on Black Mirror where there's it's like it's kind of like what I'm describing. It's like we've gotten so deep into technology to where everything's that you pay for everything, ad to even ride your bike when you're working out, or ad to get a soda out of, you see an ad for you to get a
wow,
soda out of a soda machine, or ad, I mean, it's an ad everywhere, and it's a click to buy this or click, it's everywhere. And like I
wow.
said, I would hate to get there. I would hate to get there. And I was like, if we're not careful, we could end up there, you know?
Mhm.
So it'd be like that and we wouldn't even know it, you know? It'd just be kind of like,
Mhm.
oh, this is natural. This is normal because kids grew up like from 2 and 3 years old clicking on this stuff. And so that's all they know.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, can get kind of scary. You
Yeah.
know, be careful. So,
Mm.
mm.
So final question.
Ooh, we made
Oh
it.
no, honey, it's simple.
I
It's just simple.
say we made it.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Wow. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else I want to add. I absolutely love this. I think do more of these is fantastic.
Thank you.
And yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I want to add. I love the questions. They're really good. Definitely kept me on my toes. Had to think through them. Um, no, I guess I got a question for you. Are you excited about the show this weekend? Like because E3 jumps off this weekend, you know.
Mhm.
Are you excited about it, and like what's your
I
thoughts?
I have actually toned that down. I what I mean by that is I'ma just take it in stride
Gotcha.
and just go from there, because it's like you go in with expectations, and then if those expectations aren't met, then it's like a letdown, you know what I
I got
mean?
it. Yes.
So if I go in with no expectations and just take it for what it is, then I'm able to appreciate it more.
Yeah, I understand that.
So,
Yeah, because gaming it's unpredictable, right? And
mhm,
development takes a long time, so you don't know what's ready, what could be coming, what isn't. So that's a great way to approach it. I just
mhm.
personally myself, I'm like blessed. It seems I can't help but to get excited around this time,
That's
because
good.
it's E3,
Yeah.
and I would go to the live events and stuff like that. And so it's just I love it when the industry kind of band together for this sort of thing. And so I'm excited regardless. They can just show me one thing and I'll be like, hey, because I just like it. I enjoy it at the time. So but cool. Thanks for answering the question though. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Pre-COVID, I would have loved to have gone to E3, like that, and then I know this sounds silly, but I would have loved to have gone to a Comic Con out there. Like
Oh
that
yeah.
is the Comic Con,
Like the Comic Con. Yeah.
headquarters. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes,
Like,
for sure.
and see everybody like cosplaying.
Mm.
Oh my goodness. I went to local Comic Con and Darth Vader was there with like these stormtroopers, and I was tripping. I was like, oh my God. Like, and now
Oh
I'm sitting
yes.
here giddy like a school kid, like, oh my God, it's him. He's,
Oh
you know, it's like it's kind of like
man.
that Disney effect,
Yeah,
like when you're
absolutely.
around all the Disney characters, you're back like when you're a kid, you want
Hmm.
to take pictures with everybody, and yeah, and I like that. I love that, and I would have loved to have been able to be a part of something like that, or to be able to, talk to some developers, and
Hmm.
oh my God, that would have been amazing. So now, since everything is electronic, I wonder how they're
Hmm.
going to do that as far as, panels and,
Yeah.
uh, you know, um, being able to interview developers, if they're even going to do that. Is it going to be a roundtable thing? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like I have all these questions now since everything's virtual. Like,
Yeah.
how are they going to handle that?
Yeah, I
So,
guess I can provide a little bit of insight on that because I know with E3, I think like with the app that we're able to log into, you're able to go in there and you can see booths. You can go and see the content that each publisher has set up for you to check out, like their videos, stuff like that. They have like discussion days, so it'll be like a
mhm,
calendar based thing. You can go into the app and, but you're right, it's all virtual, very different.
mhm.
So yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
we'll see, right? We don't know. This is new for
yeah,
everybody, so.
yeah. But that's cool, and I'm glad that you guys are covering that. And so that'll be interesting to watch as well. So I'm excited for that. I
Yeah.
am excited for that.
Mhm.
To see what you guys are gonna, how you guys are gonna cover E3.
Yeah, yeah, it
So
should be a lot
that'll
of
be
fun.
interesting.
We're excited as a unit. We're definitely very excited to cover the show. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. All right. So is there any social media you want
Oh
people to
yeah.
follow you at? Okay.
Yeah, sure. So anybody who's listening or watching, you all know you can follow me on Twitter, Delilah_HD. You can catch me on Growing Gaming on Saturdays, noon Eastern, on the Growing Gaming YouTube channel. And so yeah, or just go to gwgpodcast.com. And yeah, so
Awesome.
that's the show. That's the plug. Shout out to Lady Infamous, L Boogie, and Sharice. That's the family. So yeah.
Yeah. And look, you know what? Who am I missing? I'm missing Sharice
Yep. Get,
because
get
other
her on
than
here
that,
too. Get her
look,
on here
other
too.
than that, I would have interviewed all of you
Nice. Awesome.
because, of course, Lady Infamous was part of the first,
Yeah.
you know, um,
We just call this season
course,
two. You gonna
yeah,
call this on season, she's on season one.
yeah, yeah. She was on season one, so I'm missing Sharice. All right, Sharice, let's do it. Come on now. We
Oh
gotta
yeah.
get all you ladies up in here.
Oh yes. Thank you too. We appreciate it.
Oh
Like,
yeah. I'm so excited. I'm happy. This brings me joy.
yeah, it's good.
Being
Like I
able
said, keep
to
doing
talk.
it. Keep at it. We need a
Yeah,
space like this. It's great. So
I love it. All right. So I guess on that note, we'll go ahead and end the podcast, end the interview. This is not a podcast. I am
mhm,
so like stuck on that, podcast,
mhm.
podcast, podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm thankful that Delilah HD has been able to join us today for interviewing a gamer. And yeah, join us for the next episode. If you want to be a part of this series, be sure to leave a comment down below and we'll set that up. So until next time, guys, take care, be safe, and we will see you on the next video.